All rise. You may be seated.
I like my shirt.
Your Honor.
I like it.
Okay. This is day 3. We left off during testimony 15 with Ms. Golston on the stand. Mr. Murphy, if you bring the witness stand up next to the bench here, I'd appreciate that. Would the prosecution, now, I'm assuming you're going to call Ms. Golston back up to the stand to finish up your testimony. Okay. Once you do that, you'll be able to go back to the beginning. If you'd like to start that testimony from the beginning and reiterate some of the questions that you asked, if you're scared that some of the information you got exposed yesterday might be lost, and you'd like to go over that again, you may start that testimony from the beginning if you'd like. Would you also like to have a minute to review the important information that you uncovered yesterday? Yeah. Okay, you can come on up and have that minute right now.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. Never mind. I don't need that.
You don't need. Would you guys like a minute to come up and review what you uncovered yesterday? No. Okay. So at this time, I'm assuming you'd like to call Ms. Golston back to the stand?
Yes.
Call Courtney Golston to the stand. This is still testimony 15. And at this time, everybody needs to remove their electric devices from the courtroom. Thank you.
Okay. Yesterday you said you did put it in a drink. You said that when you put it in a drink, he was in the bathroom. You also said that you didn't feel like going to the police would have done anything. I don't see why you thought that. But other than that, and then you also claim that you used it for guiding purposes. Now, okay, a couple questions is, did you mix potassium cyanide with any other chemicals? Okay. Well, obviously you don't know how to do gardening then, because potassium cyanide doesn't just work straight up with plants. You need to mix it with fertilizer first. Another thing is, what kind of form was it in? Was it in a capsule pill? Was it just in pure powder?
It was in the powder and put it in the soil.
Okay. And how many pills did you have?
Pills of what?
Okay, not pill, like capsules of the powder. How much powder did you have of it?
I didn't have a lot. I just had a bag of it.
Okay. And now, why are you getting gardening supplies from a pharmacy secretly?
Because I couldn't afford it, and it's my best friend, and I think that she would help me.
Okay, I think though, so first of all, you didn't just murder your husband, you also just admitted to stealing from a pharmacy, and I don't see why you would even need to steal something like this from a pharmacy.
I didn't say I stole it.
Okay, then how would you have gotten that? Did you pay for this?
Anna made it for me.
Okay, and did she pay for the chemicals that she used for?
Yes.
Now you realize you can't get chemicals like that from a pharmacy without a prescription. You can't just take chemicals mixed together and then just say you bought it and then go.
It's not something they prescribe.
Okay, then how did you get this legally?
It's not legal. You can get it off the internet.
Okay, but I want to know why did you just go in and get this gardening supplies from a pharmacy?
I didn't go in and get it from the pharmacy. I
Okay,
got it from
okay,
him
why did your friend get it from a pharmacy and give it to you?
because I asked her to.
Okay, now but why are you getting gardening supplies from a pharmacy?
Well, I asked Anna because she helps me with things because I don't have any money. And I'm gardening because my psychologist recommended it.
Okay, now what exactly do you not have?
Because Gino would let me get a job.
When did you ever say that you couldn't get a job?
He just never allowed me to get one. When I tried to look for one, he made me quit. He didn't want me working.
Did he ever want you not in the house? Did he always want you in the house?
He likes to keep me there.
That's kind of strange because you were always out with getting good with Riley. My friend Ryan over here said that when he had his friends over, they never saw you because you were always gone from the house. What exactly were you doing when you were gone from the house?
When I was gone from the house, I would see my friends.
Like who?
Anna or Ryan.
Okay. And now, would you admit to cheating on Gino with Riley?
Yes.
Thank you for the question.
You stated yesterday that you were abused by Gino.
Yes.
Can you give me some examples of when this happened?
When he abused me,
Yes.
there was one time when, well, he gets mad sometimes when he comes home or if he's drinking. And I hate me for doing something small.
So you're the one who causes the fights because you've done something?
No.
You said he yells at you for something he did.
For something, if I did something small that he didn't like if I didn't cook his meal right, he would get angry with me.
Okay. And when you acquired the poison, did you know it was dangerous?
No.
No, you just thought it was for gardening? So Anna never told you it was poison?
I didn't know that it could hurt someone.
So why did you put it in this drink?
Because I was scared. That's the only thing I saw that I could do.
But I thought you didn't know it was poisonous.
I did. It's the first thing I saw.
Why would you put fertilizer in someone's drink?
It's the first thing I saw.
And also, you're claiming it was self-defense, correct? When you went into the bathroom, imagine instead of poison you had a gun. So if he comes out of the bathroom unarmed and you shoot him with a gun, would you still say that's self-defense?
I wouldn't have shot him.
Well, what's different with the gun and the poison?
I didn't think the poison would kill him.
What do you think it would do?
I have no idea. I thought that it would slow him down so I could leave.
Just slow him down? And again, you said you weren't gonna go to the police,
I was scared to go to the police.
but you were okay with maybe wounding him and running away. Don't you think that would aggravate him more than calling the police?
Yes.
So why would you choose that as a course of action instead of going to the police?
I didn't know what else to do. I was scared and I thought he was going to kill me.
You're scared and you probably weren't thinking straight.
I was scared and I thought he was going to kill me.
Were you thinking straight at the time?
I was scared.
Can you answer a question, please? No? You can't answer the question?
No, like the question.
So you were not thinking straight.
I mean, I was, but I wasn't. I just wanted to do a cookie stick. That would give me a
Alright. No further questions for me?
Now, one thing I want to ask: did you take your medication the day you poisoned Gino?
No.
Did you not take medication? When was the last time you did take your medication?
I don't recall.
Okay. Have you ever taken your bipolar medication?
I started it.
That's strange because our officer over there told us that he found an unopened bottle of it. Seal still on it and everything. Another thing I have to ask you is, do you know what potassium cyanide does to the body when inhaling?
No.
Okay. Do you think it was a peaceful death for this Gino?
I have no idea.
Okay. Potassium cyanide, when inhaled by the body, literally cuts apart your when the gas is expanded, it cuts apart your
Objection. What relevance is this to the case?
Objection overruled. I'll hear the.
That's it. This is the proof where the blood came from. And
Objection. He didn't inhale it though.
I said ingested.
He said inhale.
You did say inhale.
Okay.
So he did not inhale it.
Right.
Now, did you mean to say ingested?
Yes.
Okay, so please, now you may educate us.
When ingested, it basically cuts apart your insides, having you internally bleed, and you basically choke to death upon your own blood. That's kind of where the blood and everything came from. Did you know this?
No.
Okay, so is that why you think there was blood all over his face at the time of the murder?
I didn't know there was blood over his face.
It's already been determined that the defendant was absent at the time of his death.
Okay. Yeah. So then, where did you go after you had poisoned him?
I went to Anna's
Why?
because I was scared and I thought that he had passed out. I didn't know what else to do as my friend. So
So why didn't you think about going to the police?
like the police wouldn't have done anything. I would have just ended up right back where I started.
So you think the police, if you would have told him the story, you think the police would have told you to get out of their office, telling them, no, we're not going to help you, even though you just killed, even though you think your husband just passed out and could have been dead. You never thought about going to the police.
If I went to the police, I don't know if they would believe me or not.
So you think if you were the police and you tell them something like this, like, oh, you're just lying. You don't think that they're ever going to believe that they're going to double check or anything?
That could have happened.
Have you never called 911 before? Have you never? When you call the police, their job is to respond, not just think you're probably lying and hang up on you. So you never thought. The whole time you just thought you were just lazy and decided you don't think the police are going to help me, so I'm just going to go to my friend's house. Is that correct?
No, I wasn't lazy. I was scared that, would get a hold of me again, whether I called the police or not.
Oh, you said the police were going to
Objection, Your Honor. Is he allowed to continue questioning? She's already answered the question 5 times.
You need to move on from the point of why she didn't call the police. She has answered that question. Okay? Whether or not you agree with her course of action, she's answered your question.
Did you love your husband?
Yes.
Yes, you loved him. So, why were you cheating on him?
Because our relationship was starting to get worse and worse over the years. I was friends with Riley at first, and he was there to comfort me when Gino would abuse me.
Now, were you trying to fix the relationship at all, or were you just like, okay, I'm done, I'm gonna go cheat?
I would always want things to get better, but
But you never took a course of action to do that?
I tried, but nothing ever worked.
What kind of things did you try?
I tried to talk to him calmly, try to figure out what the problem is, but he never listened.
Okay, and the victim's best friend stated that he not only loved you, but he felt he was the only one trying in the relationship. Would you agree with this?
No.
No, you don't think that? No further questions.
Okay. I'd like to know what proof you had that he abused you.
I would have bruises and cuts on my body.
When did you get these bruises and cuts?
First, they would be all over, but then he found out that it should be more exclusive places, so it would be like under my shirt.
When? But when? When did you start getting abused? When did you start getting cuts and bruises?
He started abusing me a couple years ago.
That's odd because when the doctor gave you his physical and his home checkups, he never saw any signs of abuse. Any physical abuse. He didn't see any bruises or cuts, except for the one that you did on your arm yourself. Do you not remember? Do you not recall?
Do you not recall that?
No.
The witness doesn't recall that.
Do you not remember the cut you had on your arm
No.
that you had about a year ago from the doctor? You don't recall.
No.
Okay, I believe the doctor would call it as a medical report. But so the doctor clearly said there was no sign of any cuts or bruises or any physical abuse to you. Anything to say about that?
That's not true.
So you think that the doctor just, when he did his physical, and he just came up here and lied straight to the court that there was no physical abuse on your body? Because also, the officer stated that when he didn't see any exclusive areas, but the other areas, he didn't see any of that anyways either.
Objection, Your Honor. Didn't the cop say that he did not see her?
He stated that he saw.
He stated that he did not
Officer Shabala never saw the victim in person.
Yeah.
He may not have seen any signs of abuse, but never saw the victim in person.
So he does not know if there wasn't any signs of abuse.
Okay, but the doctor saw you for the last 2 years, and he reported that he never saw any signs of abuse. He saw no physical abuse, no cuts or anything, and you never even told me, asked you what's your question or anything.
Mr. Hippler, you're banging your head against a very thick wall here. Okay, it is possible for somebody to be examined and not show signs of abuse at that examination, but at other times show signs of abuse. So if somebody is abused and there are bruises and marks about their body, they're not always going to be present 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So you can continue going on back and forth, you saying that she wasn't abused and she saying that she was, and it will always be one word against another. Now, are you quite through with this testimony?
Yes, just about. I just have a few more questions. So you stated that you were not trying to kill Gina, correct? Right. But of course you did from poison. Now, when you define the word self-defense, do you know the definition of self-defense?
Yes.
Could you explain that?
Is when something is happening in that moment, in the heat of the moment, you start to do something to protect yourself, and you try to not kill the person, but to try to hurt them so that you can get away.
Okay. So the legal definition for something to be self-defense, as we stated before, is it has to be in a time of peril. We're debating whether that was a time of peril or not. Whether you tried to kill the victim or not, you did, no matter what your intentions were. So if you, again, with the gun example, if you had a gun and you shot him, would you consider that murder?
If I shot him, I probably would have killed him.
But if you would have killed him by shooting him on accident, would that still be murder? No, you think that would be self-defense still?
I mean, yes.
Because what I'm trying to get at is, even though you may not have been trying to kill him, you still did, and it still was a little far past self-defense.
Objection, Your Honor. He said that even if you weren't trying to kill him, and that is about what we're arguing that that wasn't her intention, it wasn't premeditated, so didn't he just say that?
Well, that's what you're debating. What it is that you're arguing exactly is what her intention was. And
Yeah, but he
I don't
just said
believe
that
that's
her
been made.
intention.
I don't believe that's been made clear. Yeah.
If you're driving a car and you accidentally run someone over and kill them, you still killed them, that's still a crime. That's what I'm trying to get at. No further questions.
Okay, would the defense like to cross-examine?
You were recently instructed to start a gardening for psychological purposes, correct?
Yes.
You aren't an expert on gardening, correct?
Almost.
You didn't know how to use the cyanide, correct? You
Yes.
didn't know what it would cause to, You were unaware of the effects, correct? You were exhausted of all other options to protect yourself from the abuse of your husband, correct?
Yes.
Can you describe the extent of the abuse?
He would beat me for something small. He'd be angry or he'd be drunk, and he decided to take everything out on me.
Can you describe the threats that put you in the position?
He would threaten to kill me, or if I said that I would leave, he said that he would find me and bring me back, and that I could never escape.
See, this is in the heat of the moment decision because she exhausted all other options. She couldn't do anything else. And she was prepared to save her own life. The only way that she could save her own life was to try to do something, even if she didn't know the side effects, she didn't know the usage of this product. And you refilled your medication, right? And that would explain why the seal was still on the medication in the cabinet.
Yes.
So when you say that there is a seal on the medication, that proves nothing because it was recently refilled.
Courtney, can you please describe how scared you were at that moment and what other feelings that you had right before the time of Gina's death?
I felt like there was nothing else I could do. I thought this was going to be the end.
So see, as my other attorney just said, that she was very scared for her life, and she felt the only thing that she could do is try to somehow slow Gina down, somehow do something to make her so that she would be able to get away, so that she would not die. Because I don't know about you, didn't want to die, correct? No further questioning.
You may be seated. Prosecution, would you like to call another witness to the stand? You are not allowed to counsel with the attorneys, Mr. Bush.
Will we have a chance
Wait,
to
pause.
call up witnesses later?
You will not. You will only be able to cross-examine the witnesses that they call in.
We'd like to call Mrs. Anna.
Call Anna Reyes to the stand. This will be testimony number 16.
Did you steal the potassium cyanide from the pharmacy?
No, I did not.
Now, how did you acquire that?
I required ingredients to make potassium cyanide from the internet.
So it was not from the pharmacy. Okay. At what time did you give the poison to Mrs. Golston? How many weeks or days prior to the murder?
I guess it was like a month and a half.
Okay. And what is your current relationship with your ex-boyfriend?
He is my ex-boyfriend.
Have you ever had any things that have happened between you since then?
Excuse me.
We were friends a while afterwards, but we were part of the relationship.
The occurrence of the car window smashing in, was that you, or do you deny that you did that?
I deny.
You deny it? Okay. How long have you been friends with Mrs. Golston?
We are actually cousins, and we've been friends, best friends, for a really long time. We're very close.
Very close, so she's kind of like an older sister to you. So you do anything for her?
I would do anything to keep her safe.
No further questions.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness? You may be seated. Prosecution, would you like to call another witness to the stand? Or would you like to rest your case?
I think we rest our case.
All right, the prosecution rests. To recap, they began with their opening statement and then called Officer Shervala, Mr. J. Jones, Dr. Hippler, and then Dr. Hippler again, Officer Shervala again, Mr. Bush, and then Mr. Bush again, Mr. Moody, and then Mr. Moody again, Ms. McClellan, Mr. Oyer, Mr. Shervala again, Mr. Oyer again, and then Ms. Golston and Ms. Reyes. Okay, at this point, the defense will begin with their line of testimonies. This next testimony will be testimony number 17. And at this point, defense, you can call your first witness to the stand. Yes, you can have 1 minute of recess.
Mr. Chula, he's not laughing at it.
I think it was just real laugh.
It was funny. It was a funny response. He's my ex-wife. I love it when the witnesses start getting some sass and start talking back to the lawyers.
Go.
Okay. I need to know who your first witness is going to be.
Brennan.
Call Brennan Swarthy to the stand. This will be testimony number 17.
Brennan, I would first like to ask, who are you?
I'm a contractor for Golson House. I make several home improvements over a few months.
How often have you been working with them?
Quite frequently over the past few months.
How often do you visit them?
I'd have to say once a few weeks.
And what does that compare to the other houses that you have to visit?
I've been visiting quite frequently for a few minor improvements and some major ones as well.
Is that strange?
Some strange, suspicious activity I've seen there.
What is some suspicious activity that you've seen?
I'd say silverware scattered across the floor, knives, forks. Also, had to replace several holes in walls, also a broken mirror, and a busted down door.
Have you ever seen anything maybe that could, have you ever seen any blood or any other things that could be strange?
I have seen the case of blood smeared on the wall, which I had to clean up while I was improving the dented walls and such.
Did you ever see any interactions between the couple that you were doing home renovations on?
Well, Mrs. Wilson's phone was on the table at one point, but I did not search through it to see whose phone it was. There was actually a note. There was actually a buzz, and the message was seen on the screen, and it was from Gino, and it said, "You better respond to me, or I'll ... And it never fully went through the whole message. I didn't tend to open it and eavesdrop or snooze through that.
Can you please describe the layout of the house?
It's a 2-level ranch house. We have a main level and then also the basement, which I've been helping Gino with renovations down there as well.
Is there, also can you describe the outside of the house?
Outside of the house, a simple garden in the back with a shed, not locked, just a simple switch lock.
Thank you. So, as Brennan kindly told us, he has seen lots of evidence of potential abuse that could have happened. I would say blood, broken mirrors, broken down doors, holes in the wall. That usually doesn't happen unless maybe you have little kids running around, which they do not. Also, he did mention and back up that there is a garden that she did actually have, and a shed that was not locked, so she can easily access the site in a heat of the moment decision. No further questions.
Prosecution, would you like to?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Please.
Can you please describe the condition of their basement?
Basement was also locked, which was kind of suspicious to me as well. Some also minor dents and some strange scratchings and whatnot in the basement.
It was unfinished, right? That's why you were fixing it?
Yes.
Yes. Did you notice anything unusual about the walls? Can you further elaborate on the holes or dents?
Rather fish-shaped dents, holes in walls. I had to resurface that, everything like that. Just some minor here and there, nothing like severely like out of anger. But
How often did you notice these?
almost practically every trip I came in.
Really? Did you suspect anything was going on with abuse between Gino and Courtney?
I figured some minor domestic disputes between them.
When the night where you found the holes or the dents in the basement, did Gino not come home with bandages on covering his fist area where that would have occurred if he punched the wall?
I believe it might have occurred, but me and Gino and I have some rough disputes lately over financial discrepancies.
Okay. And see, this proved the abuse going on because he even suspected it. The home contractor, who is close and does all the renovations for the home, suspected that there was abuse going on because of things that occurred in the house.
I seem to remember you telling me that there was a situation a couple nights before the murder. What was that situation? Gino between you and him, and did you confront him at all at some point?
Yes. We had some discrepancies about the money. I first talked to Ms. Goldson about how I wasn't being paid for my renovations. She described that she had some money difficulties, financial difficulties. So I spoke with Gino about this. And since he's had a short temper before, he crumpled up a $20 bill, threw it in my face, cursed at me, and left.
This also shows another side of Gino that maybe we haven't heard earlier in the trial. And I would like to make that clear that people have seen, and there is lots of evidence that Gino did have a short temper and there was very much abuse going on in this house. No further questions.
You stated that.
Prosecution, would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, I'm sorry. Sorry, Your Honor. Now, you stated that the bandages on Gino or the victim's fist looked like it was from punching the wall. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, you said you worked on you with the basement together. You guys worked together.
Some minor renovations, I needed some help with drywall, stuff like that.
Okay. And was he ever violent down there, or I mean?
We barely spoke because of some incidents. He's just had some minor short tempers, some short outbursts with me, which I didn't find respectable.
Okay. And do you think these were caused by maybe just his personality or something that might have occurred to him recently?
I mean, since the financial discrepancy, I believe that it was just a short temper from him.
Thank you. No further questions.
Was there any proof that the violence that you can tell who was using who?
Who specifically? I believe from the holes in the walls and the bandaged fist, I didn't think he would get that in his office.
Okay, now, do you think that maybe instead of punching his wife, that maybe he punched the wall to relieve stress, or do you think it was on his wife?
I believe that was one of the reasons, since he has a bandaged fist and there's holes in the walls.
Okay, now do you believe that did it show any proof that did it show any direct proof that who was abusing who?
I haven't seen Courtney with any like punches or fist punch marks, bruises on her face, so I believe it was just the wall and Gino's fist.
You may be seated.
Wait.
No, they're for the prosecution. You are welcome to call him back up to the stand at a later time if you wish. Who would you like to call to the stand, please?
We would like to call.
Call Dr. Johnson to the stand. This will be testimony number 18, Alex Johnson. Dr. Alex Johnson, indeed.
Dr. Alex Johnson, who are you?
I am a therapist from Soviet Russia.
And how long have you been working with Courtney?
I have been working with her for a couple of months. She would come in often for therapy sessions.
What did she share with you during those sessions?
Well, initially when she first started coming into my office, she would say things like she was depressed and she felt sad and stuff. So I told her, I recommended her a garden hobby to kind of help her with the depression. And she told me that she had been taking depression medication, and so she said that her depression was getting worse. So I told her that perhaps the depression medication was making things worse, as is sometimes a side effect of depression medication, and maybe consult her doctor. But initially, over time, she would tell me that she'd been getting abused from her husband. Things were getting much worse in the house. And I would notice many bruises and cuts on her face and sometimes on her arms.
Did she give you any specific times when he was abusive that you could share with us?
I don't remember specifically every single thing, but she shared with me one time he had thrown a little note at her face, and other times when she had burnt dinner and threw the dinner on her face.
Thank you. This is a doctor also, as we were saying. Doctor psychologist, someone that is in a high professional field who would not lie and who knows Courtney very well, and she did share things about her life that he is now sharing with us that helps our case to know that Gino was very abusive.
It is true that Courtney has told you she has been pushed down the stairs by Gino. Correct.
I think I do recall the same.
It is also true that she has had objects thrown at her, such as a remote control and a frying pan. Correct.
That is also true.
And also, she has recalled that he has bashed her head into the wall. Correct.
I believe she may have mentioned.
Is there any further abuse that you would like to describe with us?
Based on what she has told me, she just normal violent outbursts, often coming home drunk, violent, shouting, seeing things at her, getting upset at her for small things. And of course, previously stated that violence.
Is it correct that Gino did not know about these visits?
I have no information on whether he knew or not.
Okay. The abuse that Courtney has shared with our doctor proves that it was a normal characteristic for him. And how often did she come in with bruises? Because she saw you twice a week. Did you see the bruises every day, every week that she saw you?
I did not see bruises all the time. Usually, once a month she would come in and she would have many bruises and scratches on her face and such.
So once a month, this is a common outburst. Abusing someone, it's not okay for that to happen, and this just proves that in his personality trait, it is common for him to abuse her. No further questions.
Could you agree that just because you don't see her every time as well, that she could be abused even more than once a month, even more often?
She could possibly be more abused than what she is letting on or what I know.
Also, can you please describe some of the symptoms of depression and how it makes the patients of it, how they feel?
Well, often symptoms of depression and sometimes symptoms of depression medication cause actually thoughts of suicide, depression, anger, lack of eating, it can cause lack of sleep, many such bad things like that.
Do you also agree that some of the symptoms are a lot of feeling guilt and feeling as if it was their fault?
Guilt sometimes is a side effect of depression and depression medication products.
Also, do you believe that people with abuse, have you seen abuse often enough to know that people with abuse suffer with thinking that it is their fault and internalizing their feelings and not being able to cope with them?
I have had many patients and people with such abuse problems. Both me as not the person, this is not the first trial that I've been on testifying. And I can assure you that many similar cases such as this I've seen women with abuse in much cuts and cases. And a lot of times they feel that it is their fault in some ways, often anyways.
Thank you. I believe that this proves that that Courtney was feeling that Courtney felt guilt, that she felt it was her fault that Gino was attacking and abusing her. And she was feeling this way, and she didn't know what to do about it. And so let's go back to the night that the murder occurred. She didn't know what to do. She thinks it's her fault, and she's in a panic attack. She doesn't know if she doesn't feel a hatred or anger towards him. She's feeling hurt and violated, and she's feeling like she has nowhere to turn, nothing to do. And she feels like that in the moment that there needs to be something done because of her guilt and because of that she thinks it is her fault. No further questions.
Would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. You mentioned before that she had cuts and bruises on her face and arms.
On occasion I would see cuts and bruises on her face and arms.
And what was your most recent session with her?
Last session was last month. She had not as many cuts and bruises as usual, but cuts and bruises.
And were they visible on her face and arms?
I saw one bruise here near her sleeve, and I saw a small cut on her face, but not too much.
Okay. Also, you said that Courtney may have been experiencing some side effects that could have been One of them you mentioned was anger. Another one was thoughts of suicide. Is that correct?
That is a symptom of sometimes depression medication. It takes a while to just get the combination of chemicals with depression medication.
And did she ever talk to you about any self-inflicted wounds?
She never told me of any self-inflicted wounds. No.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
How long have you been doing this?
I have known her for about a year. She has been coming in with me and he talks about depressions and her feelings and such.
And has she ever told you about her medication? She told you about her depression medication. She tell you how she takes it.
She told me at first she started taking it. She told me she didn't take it too often, but sometimes depression medication. Yeah, I recommended for her to stop taking it if it was causing imbalances with her emotions and such.
Okay. Did she ever tell you about her bipolar disorder?
She did not tell me about her bipolar disorder. I did not think she had bipolar disorder. I'm a psychologist. I can usually tell this type of thing.
Okay. So you never even tried to diagnose her with any other problems, or did you just talk to her about her problem, talk to her about her problems?
Well, based on what she, well, mainly as a psychologist, I do talk to her about her problems and make an assessment on her mental state based on that. And based on the fact that she was taking depression medication and she had these symptoms, she did not seem like a candidate for bipolar disorder.
Do you think that her depression medication could, if she would have taken it, then it could have helped her more?
Well, like I previously stated, the depression medication probably was not working due to her depression worsening. So I told her to stop taking it and consult her doctor to possibly get better and make some chemicals.
Okay. So why did you? Do you know why she maybe went to the doctor about? She said to tell the doctor that she wanted new medication, but because she wasn't taking it, and she said that she originally has been taking. She was been seeing the doctor 2 years, and she hasn't been taking her medication since that 2 years, and so she was already going on and off with her medication, not really using it, and then that's when she talked to you, and you told her to stop using it altogether. Do you think why her depression wasn't worsening was because she already wasn't taking it normally like she should have been?
Well,
I object. Hasn't he already answered this question as well? About saying that she didn't take, he already said that the reason why she didn't take it, and he already said he recommended her to a doctor. He already answered those questions, and I feel like it's the same questions worded differently.
You need to accelerate to your point, okay?
Okay.
And stop repeating questions and information that's already been divulged.
So, do you think that she should have had that she possibly could have had bipolar disorder?
I object. He already said that she did not have
That's
bipolar
That's
disorder.
already been addressed. It's already been addressed.
I need to state it for a follow-up question.
Well, it's already been established, so ask your follow-up question. You may ask your follow-up question.
Okay. If you think that if she would have taken bipolar disorder pills, you think that could cause any problems by taking pills?
if she did not have bipolar disorder and she took pills, there could be some side effects. Depending on strength and chemicals and pills, everyone's different. Pills, people react different ways to different pills.
So do you think that her doctor who practices in medicine was wrong about this? And I understand that your field is in psychology, but his is in medicine. So would you contradict saying that he is wrong to give her this type of medication?
Well, I do have experience with medicine myself. And often, sometimes doctors make mistakes. Sometimes doctors make mistakes. I'm not saying doctor is a bad person or anything like that. But sometimes errors do happen and you have to be understanding of that. And so I feel that the doctor made a mistake just based on my psychology, my psychiatric diagnosis into another state.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that will be the. You may be seated.
Thank you very much, honorable Judge Person.
That will be the end. That will be the end of day 3. We will continue with day 4 tomorrow. We are through 18 testimonies.